Okay, good evening to you all. Today is our day 13 of this 3-month data analytics bootcamp. Like I said, this bootcamp will last for about 3 months, and today is our day 13. Like always, we start by showing our outlines. That is what we are to cover for the day. So these are outlines. We'll have a recap on what we did on the swap, that is yesterday, and also we'll talk about if and if oh. That's what we are going to discuss today. If you can recall, yesterday we started discussing about if function. That is, we did if function. I've told you is a conditional formula that takes criteria, which where the criteria is true, it will return a value for you, and if the criteria is false, it will return another value for you. And also we did if nested, which we said is different condition or different criteria in one single formula. That is if inside if. That's what the if nested is all about. So today we are going to have another type of if nested. Of course, this is if and if or. They are called logical operators. They are called logical operators because they are operators that one of them, or there are two conditions in the formula, and that two condition must somehow work, or either of them must work for the two to actually work. So we have if and. What is this if and did is that it helps you to create a condition, two conditions from separate or from different cells, and that condition must be true. That condition must be true. It helps you to create a condition, two condition or more, and that condition must be true for you to have a true value. If either of the condition is false, then definitely the condition is not true. It will give you the false value. For example, if I said if C1 is 2 and D1 is 3, then I want to return yes. So that means if C1 is not 2 and D1 is 3, definitely the condition is false, because either of this condition, that is C1 and D1, must be 2 and 3 for you to get yes. If not, then you are going to get if false, because these two conditions that you give must be true for this formula to work. That's if and. So that if and. I'm sorry, please. So for the if O, there are two conditions, but either of the condition that if it is true, then you can have value that is true. Either of the condition, if either of the condition is true, then it will return the true value for you. For example, now when I said if C1 is 2 and D1 is 3, it will return true value for you. Okay, so now if we have 0 in C1, but we have 3 in D1, then definitely it will return yes for us, because the condition, either of the condition now is true. And that's what it means. Either of the condition, if it is true, then of course it will return the true value for us. Not both the condition, but take note, in and, two condition or 3 or 4 or thousands of them that you gave must be true, all of them, for you to have true value. If there are 10 conditions and 9 of them are true, only one of them that is false, definitely it will give you false value. That's how it works. And but for O, you can give 10 conditions, but if you use O, even if 9 of them is not true, all of them is not true, one of them is true, it will give you true value, because you use O. It will say O, 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 up till when it reads the O that is true, then it will give you the true value. Either, if not, if maybe it is 10 condition and all the 10 are false, then definitely it will give you false, because there is no O in it. And this is what this if and works with. And these are very, very powerful functions. Please write them down, understand how they work. Write them down, understand how they work. So let's move, let's see how we can do them. Let's practice it. So let me open my Excel so that we can practice it together. Okay. I don't know if you can see my screen. If you can, please let me know. Just tell me you can see my screen, you can see my Excel. Can you see my screen, please? Okay, so now this is where we stopped yesterday. If you can recall, this is what we did yesterday. So definitely I'm going to delete this because that's what we where we stopped yesterday. So I'm deleting this, and here it is. So let's talk about this. Now, we have this and we have this rate. We have rates and we have this. What I'm going to do is I'm deleting this also. This status, I'm cutting it. Let me just cut it and paste it here because, yeah, let me paste it here. Let me just paste it here. I'm deleting it. Sorry, you don't need it. I'm deleting it. Sorry. So now we are going to create a conditional formula whereby we are going to use two criteria. If that two criteria are true, we want to return something. And if they are not true, then we want to return something. And that's what we are going to do now. Okay. So now what we are going to say, and also take note. And also take note. This if and that we're going to do, you can also create if nested with it. Please take note. We are going to use if and one like if that we just did, and we did if nested, and this if and if will also have their own one single condition, and they can take more than one condition in them. Please take note on that, don't get confused. That's why yesterday I asked you to practice what we did yesterday, so that today we will not get confused with all this. So now what we are going to say, let me just create what we want. We are going to create two conditions. One, let me see, one, C1 is equal to, we want C1 to be RH plus 2, we want it to be greater than or equals to 5. So if we have these two conditions, if we have these two, they are true, these two are true, then we want to have positive. That's number one. But either way, if it is not, if these two are not true, then definitely what we want to have, we just want to have negative. I hope you understand. So now we are taking conditions. We are given two conditions, and these two must be true. If it is RH plus and it is less than 5, definitely it will give us negative because we are going to use this and they must be true. So let's see how we can create the formula. Equals to if open bracket, after you write if open bracket, then you are going to put your logical operator. Now we are working with and, then you put and, then you open bracket. I hope you understand this. If open bracket, just put your logical operator because we are going to put logical operator now. So first, we are going to say if C2 is equals to, then we are going to put this RH plus. Then I will close my double quote. We did that yesterday with you. I will say this, that's number one. I'll close it. Sorry, then I'll put comma. I'm not closing it. I'll just put comma because I have to put another one. Then D2, and D2 is greater than or equals to 5. Now I will not put 5 inside double quote because it's just 5. Then I will close my bracket. I'm done with the logical operators because it's two conditions that I want them to be true. It must be RH plus and it must be greater than or equal to 5. Then I'm done with my condition. Then I'll put comma. What did I want if the condition is true? I want it to be positive. Then I'll say positive. If it is false, what did I want? I want it to be negative. Then I will say negative. I'll close it, and I will close my bracket, only one bracket. I will close my bracket, then I will press enter. And yes, it gives us positive. Now, if I double click, you see, we have negative, 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 negative. Only the positive are not much. You see, this is 5 RH plus and is 5 or greater than 5 is positive. You see, we have negative, negative. You see here also, you see. So that's how it is because either of the condition must be true. If it is RH minus, for example, if I turn this to minus, it will give us negative. Even if it is plus, I turn this to 4, it will give us negative because the two conditions must be true. Please, I'm sorry. I have to attend to something. Please, I'm sorry. 2 minutes or 1 minute, please. Let me reply to something, please. Okay, so I'm sorry. So this is how you used the and in order for you to create two conditions, and both the condition must be true for you to have the true value. And either of the condition that is false, or if one of them is not true, but it's going to give you the false value. And that's how it works. So let's move to O. So for the O, we are going to create another status. Let me just call it status again. Then we are going to say, for this O, we need either of this. If we have RH plus O greater than or equals to 5, either of them that we have, we want it to be positive. So let's see how we can do that. Let me turn it to 6 because it's positive the way it is. So let me do it like this. I'm going to say equals to, if open bracket O, then now I'm going to use OR. I'm going to use O logical operator. Then I'm going to say if C2, I'll just click on it, C2 is equals to, then I will say what? RH plus, comma, O D2 is greater than or equals to 5. I'm done. Then I will close my bracket. I'll put comma. Then I want it to be positive. I want it to be positive, and I will close my double quote. If it is false, I want it to be negative. That means either of the condition, either of the two, if one is true, then we'll get positive. And if either of them that is true, we are going to get positive. But if both of them are false, then definitely we are going to get negative. So that is, let me just double click it and see. So you see now, if I turn this to 4, definitely it will still be positive here. Okay, let me hide this so that we will not get confused with it. So now you see, if I turn this to 5, it will be positive. If I turn it to 3, it will still be positive because RH plus is true, because we said O and O, that is C2 or D2, either of them that is true is going to give us value if true. And if all of them are false, because now you see RH minus and 4 definitely is negative. But if we turn this to 5, it will give us positive because one of the condition now is true. So this is how these logical operators of O and works. And take note, this that you are seeing, you can create, like I said, you can create conditional formatting. You can create a lot of if nested in it, so that you can have different of it. So let's see what we can do now and create more complex example with this O and and so that you will learn more from it. But please give me another 2 minutes or one. Let me just attend to something. I'm replying to some messages. I can't read messages while talking. So let me just reply to some text messages and I will come back in 1 minute or two. So you can have a recess. Going to do now, what we are going to do now is that what we are going to do now is that we are going to create something. Let's say we are going to give admission to people. I'm going to write everything. I'm going to write how the criteria is going to be. But don't get confused. It's very easy and you are going to do it now. Now we are going to do that. We have the exam results of people. We want to give admission. But there are 3 criteria for us to give that admission to people or to the students. 1, you must have JAM score of 160. JAM score, let me just write it correctly. JAM score must be 160. SSCE credits must be 5, greater than 5. Let's say 5 and above. Let's do that. Okay, so let me add another one. Then we need the country of origin to be Nigeria. Country of origin must be Nigerian. Let's put another one. Age. Yeah, let me put age. Date of birth, age limit must be 17 and above. Okay, these are the criteria that, if this criteria, that is number 1, let me just highlight this, margin. If these criteria are true, we are going to give this particular, okay, let me just put this, let me see, 1 to 190. I'm just going to say this to 190. If these criteria are true, then we are going to give this particular person, let's say, engineering. Okay, so I'm doing this again. I'm copying this. I'm pasting it here. Then I will say, if I will create another criteria, then I will give this particular person medicine. If JAM score is 191 to 250, and he has 6, I'm going to say 6 and above credit, and his age is 19 and above, we want to give him medicine. Otherwise, if all these criteria are not true, okay, this criteria, I think we can add something here to make it 170. Okay, yeah, let's leave it 170 or 160. Okay, if any of these criteria are not we didn't meet the criteria of all these 2 that we just gave, any person that is below this criteria, let's just give him let's say withdraw. Okay, no admission. We'll not give him admission. This is what we want as value a false. So we are going to have these two. I don't want us to take much time because time limit. I don't know if you have enough time. So let us create this for these two only, but we can create for as many courses as we want. That means we can create for all low courses or whatever and create a criteria and write the formula, and it will do that for us. So let's see how we are going to do this. So I'm going to delete this. I'm sorry, please. I'm sorry. Please, I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry. I'm very, very sorry. Okay, let's see what we are going to do. I'm deleting all this. Sorry, I'm deleting all this. I don't need all this. I'm getting rid of it. I'm deleting everything. I'll write this. I'll just call it jam result. I'll just call it jam score. Yeah, let's call it jam score. This one I'll say SSC credits. Then here I'll call it country of origin. Then here I'll call it age. So here we'll call it status of admission. So we'll call it status of admission. So this is what we are going to do. Let's follow the criteria and create this awesome way of doing it. So I'm going to just do something. Let me just create this. I'm just going to say this. Sorry. Let me just create it like for, let me just create it like for 200 people or 250 people. Let's just create it for this. So I'm going to do this. Let me create a table. Yeah. Okay, so let's do this. This is okay. I'm doing this. So now for SSC, I'm going to say so I'm going to create this. Yeah, I'm going to use this. And for country of origin, definitely we are going to put different countries. So I'm going to use Nigeria. Then we'll have Canada, Algeria, Gambia, Cameroon, Nigeria. Yeah, because Nigeria should be much. Nigeria. Yeah. So I think I can go with this. Yeah, so I'm done with this. Then for age, we are going to say, I'm going to use from 15 to 25. Yeah, I'll use this. Yeah, so these are the data. I just created the data for 200. You see, we created it for about 200 people, and that's what we are going to use to create this admission for them. So let's start this and see what we can do. Okay, so now I'm sorry. Let's just do this. Let's see what we can do now. Okay. Okay. So what the first thing we are going to use is we are going to do for the engineering. That's what we are going to use for first. So I'm going to say equals to if open bracket and because it's going to be all of these criteria must be true for us to give him engineering. So we are giving engineering now. Then I'm going to say if A2, because that's where jam score started. If A2 is if A2 is greater than, or let's say is greater than or equals to 160, comma, that's what we want for the first one. Greater than or because we said 160 to 190. So don't worry if you say 160. Now in the next criteria, if we passed, that is in another hand, if we passed from 191 upward, then definitely this one is going to stop at 190. That where it's greater than is going to end. So I've already told you in the previous class yesterday how it works. So now I'm going to say if it is greater than or equals to 160, comma, and also B2, that is where SSC is what? Greater than or equals to 5. That's what we want, is greater than or equals to 5. Definitely because we say 5 and above also. Of course, we need it like that, comma. And also C2 is equals to, then I'm going to put Nigeria like this. I'm going to write Nigeria inside double quote to be Nigeria. Then the last one is D2. D2 is, then we are going to, how do we going to put D2 is 17. So we're going to say greater than or equals to 17 years. So now we are done with this number one criteria. If this criteria is true, comma, what do we want to see? We want to give this particular person engineering. That's the value if true. Then we put comma. We are going to create another if again now because it is if nested. So I'm going to say if open bracket and again open bracket, then I'm going to pass the criteria for medicine. It's going to be A2 greater than or equals to 191. Take note, greater than or equals to 191. That means from 191 and above, anybody with that is going to be included in this. Then I'll put comma. Then I'm going to say B2 is what? We are going to say is greater than or equals to 6. Again, because we say 6 and above. Then C2 is equals to also Nigeria, because definitely is going to be Nigeria, comma, and D2 is what? Is greater than or equals to 19. Here we are talking about 19 years old. Then I'll close this. Then I'll say, comma, what do you want? We want to give a medicine. Then I'm going to say medicine. I'm done with this. Then what did I need at the end? Now at the end, value if false. That means if all of these are false, what do I need? So definitely I'm going to say no, sorry, I'm going to say no admission. Then I'll close my bracket and I'll close two brackets because I open two. I open that one for the if and this one for the second if. Then I'll press enter and blah, it gave me no admission. Why? Let me just double click it so that we'll talk about the number one person. You see, there is no admission in a lot of students. Of course, they didn't meet up with the criteria. But let's see how it happens. This person scored 136. Even though he has 7 credits, Nigeria is 22. But this particular score is what disqualified him to get the admission because it's 136. We don't have anything on 136. If I turn it to 160, he will get engineering. If I put 191, he will get medicine. Sorry. Definitely, we need to touch this formula because 191 didn't give us medicine, so we need to touch this. We need to touch this particular this. Okay, here I'm going to say Here I must use this is less than or equals to, definitely I will use this. And here I will use 160, it will give me this. If I use 191, it will give me this. Yeah, so let me just drag it again. Okay, like this. Yeah, that's what we got. Okay, so yeah, I just do a little touch on it, but let me look at something again. Let me look at it. Okay. So now I just double click it. So if you look at it now, look at this particular person. He got this 152.47 and he got 24 years. If I turned his years to 16, he's definitely get no admission because he didn't qualify to get admission. He has this. So this is how you will go about this particular formula. Please try it and see what you can do so that you can create this particular criteria and this particular condition in it. So please try and see what you can do with this. And believe me, it will work. So that's it. If you have a question, please, you can ask. We can call it a day. If you have a question, you can ask. If you don't, we can call it a day. We only have 2 minutes left. Yeah, it must be in capital letter. But even if you put it in small letter, Excel will automatically turn it to capital, even if you put it in small. So if you put it in small, the and O and if, even if you put it in small letter, Excel will turn it to capital letter. That's how it works. So the best practice is for you to write it by yourself in capital. Okay, so I'll upload the video for you to watch. You have a lot to learn here, and your assignment will come up immediately. I think tomorrow morning or tonight I'll drop your assignment. So please, all of you should check your email. And please, those that didn't receive my message, the first email I sent, if you know you didn't receive that email, just talk to me. I will add you in the database of the email so that you will receive it at once with all people together. I will drop your assignment soon, maybe even before I drop the link to the video. I'll drop your assignment very soon. So see you tomorrow. Next tomorrow, we'll continue from where we stop. Thank you so much for today, and have a nice and wonderful trip. Bye bye.